Hi everyone, we are back again with another OWASP Spotlight Series project, and this one is one of the most interesting project I've come across. That's called Security Rat. And as I mentioned in my earlier sessions or Spotlight Series sessions, that there are so many amazing or incredible projects or tools that OWASP has and the leaders have come up with, which people are not aware of. So this is one similar project which I was not aware of, but when I got to know, it really helped me in automation and whatnot. So let's hear from the leaders today what they have to say about the project, and we will hear from them because it's the product which they have created for the people, for the community. So Daniel, can you please let me know about what Security Rat is all about? Like, how do you come up? How did you come up with the name like rat in it?
Uh, sure. Thanks for inviting us. So where it started, or what we believe, is that the center of agile development in terms of security is our security requirements. So basically, you need to tell developers or project teams what you actually expect from them, so that they can implement it. And what we also see that a lot of companies struggle with actually formulating these. So it's really hard for project teams or squad to find out what everything they should actually comply with if they want to push a new thing live. So um, we also gathered the requirements we were expecting from them, and then we put it into an Excel file and started looking for a tool in order to be able to parameterize the requirements, maybe to offer some automation. And we found that while the idea was very, very simple, that a developer wants to know, okay, or wants to tell, okay, I'm developing a mobile app or a REST service with certain requirements. What should I comply with? And we actually didn't find anything, even if it was such a simple thing. So we said, okay, we started to build the project. And at some point, we donated it to also to OWASP. We starting also playing around more with automation, like interacting with Jira, because we found out, okay, whatever we had in the Excel file as a requirement, developers were copy and pasting it to Jira, to their stories. So we started to focus on these quick wins.
Wow, that's amazing because I know that I have worked on the requirements in Excel sheet and how much tedious it is. Trust me, it's such a big pain. And then, especially if the requirements change, then you keeping the iteration of Excel files, and then it keeps on increasing, and then you tend to lose the track of it sometimes. So automation is one of the, I would say, need of the hour that we need now. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
And
sure.
also, the issue what you've noticed is that as the requirements develop, so it's not like you are done with security requirements and then you don't touch the framework like for 5 or 10 years. They develop, and while the application is living, basically the application is wrote against the old requirements which are several years old, and there is no easy way for a team to find out, like, okay, what are the current requirements, what are the new legislation changes, or whatever is relevant to me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. So, Rene, so we have a Rene with us as well. So, Rene, can you please let us know that how we can use Security Rat? Like, this is a product which has a lot of automation in it. So, if let's say I'm a developer or I'm a security researcher and I have to start using Security Rat, how can I use it?
For sure. Thanks a lot, Vandana. I can show you a little bit around about the tool. Let me just share my
Sure.
screen on that. Okay, yeah. Currently, you see the official OWASP Security Rat project page, which is also available. You can find all the information about the tool, link to the GitHub, also link to the demo environment, which will I now show, which is basically publicly reachable on securityrat.org. So everybody can play around with it, and yeah, just give it a try. And I will use it also for the demo today. And what I will show you is this is basically the main page for Security Rat, where you can start. And for us, everything starts with creating and defining an artifact. So what we basically say is an artifact can be everything, should be something which you develop. Could be also a small REST interface, could be a web application, but should be something you can specify. For example, let's call it a small web app. Just for the name. So the main goal for Security Red is you need to now parameterize the properties for that artifact, because what's beneath Security Red in the database, here for this demo, we have included the OWASP ASVS version 3 requirements. So, and as you may know, I think the whole requirement set on ASVS version 3 consists of, I think, roughly 180 requirements. So giving this list to the developers and just tell them, okay, look around what's feasible for you and what not, doesn't make sense at all. So this is also one of the main ideas of Security Red, to specify properties for your implementation to narrow down the specific requirement set to exactly your need. I can give it a show. Let's start with a level. Let's say we have a level 2 standard web app we are going to develop. Those levels are from OWASP ASVS. They define the levels. And now let's define what is it. Is it a front-end application, web service, a mobile app? Again, everything what you see here, what I can select, this is freely configurable in Security Red. You can add whatever you want. You can also add IoT device or whatever you can imagine. You can, as an admin on Security Red, specify which requirements match actually to which property. So this is just for the demo here, but you can add freely around whatever you need if you host it for yourself. So let's say it's a front-end application. Does it have an authentication? Does it come with, let's say, yeah, we have a single sign-on client included in this. Does it have any session management we want to develop in our web application? Yeah, we want to have session IDs. Again, you can also add as many properties as you like. This is just for the demo case. Reachability, let's say it's internet facing. And we also have some kind of implementation type. This is in the demo environment. I do not have it set. It's just a default value. On our production we are running in our companies, we have various implementation type for various services. So this is also something you can define by yourself. So if I now hit the generate button, what Security Red does is it basically looks in the database and looks what kind of ASVS requirements match exactly my properties I've given to them. So, and instead of having 180 requirements, I narrowed it down to 112, which is much better for the developers and architects, and at least they can save directly up 60 requirements up front. What I can show, you can also change the setting afterwards. You can have a little summary here, what kind of properties you have set. And so the main idea is what you see now in the application is, you see the requirement short name here, which is ASVS 3.1, 1.1, verify that all application components are identified and are known to be needed. We also included some additional columns here, which we just call more information. Again, this is freely configurable. You can name it whatever you like. You can also apply your own drop-down lists here. For this demo, we use a column called fulfilled. So, and what the idea is, you now sit together with your lead architect and your lead developer and go through that list for every requirement and discuss it. Basically say, okay, how do we handle this requirement? Is this requirement somehow fulfilled for us? Maybe it's a technical requirement which is fulfilled by a third-party library we're using, or maybe it is unknown because it's not clear in the discussion. We need to have a deeper look on it and clarify that later. Or we exactly know, okay, this is something we have to do. So as an example, I would just say, okay, yes, all application components are identified and known to be needed. You can add a comment, what you like. Let's check with QA, for example. And so, and the idea is you go through each requirement. I would just do something like here, okay, verify that all components or libraries are identified. Let's say, for example, this is a no, and to be done. So we need to do something about it. And so you go through the whole list. So what's the idea in the end if you have filled out everything? So idea of Security Red is about where to persist this information basically. There is the possibility to export it in a flat file, but to be honest, it doesn't make sense. This is what we just discussed and was Daniel mentioning before. We are able to export it to Excel, but that's not the goal of SecurityRed. The goal is to export it in somehow some environments developers are using. So at the moment, the most or the tool which is mostly used by developers is Jira from Atlassian, and so basically a ticket queue. So for this demo, I have prepared the possibility to also export it into a Jira queue. So what you can now do is basically say, okay, I'm going to click the save button and I have to specify a Jira URL with a Jira queue attached. So yeah, basically what it does, it asks the Jira queue, okay, what fields are possible, what kind of issue types. So it's talking directly to the Jira queue. You can configure extra fields if you like, and basically those values come directly from the Jira server as SecurityRed is talking to the Jira server. So this is nothing predefined. It's basically what Jira is offering for us. So I can add some summary, I can add a description, whatever I like. And if I hit the export button, it basically says me, okay, now I've created a ticket for you in the Jira queue as an artifact, and we can open that up pretty quick and have a look into it. And what we see is the name, what we've had, a small web app. It's an artifact, and what it basically does, it's exporting the whole requirements as a YAML file as an attachment. So, and you see it also generates some kind of auto comments. Hey, we have a new update here, and we can directly click on it to import it. But what I want to show you is, okay, this is just for the whole requirement set. But what I've mentioned before, we were going through each requirement. So maybe I have different developers which I want to assign tasks directly. So maybe also in a different Jira queue. Could be the case that I have two development teams and one has a different Jira queue and the another one also an additional different one. So what I can do is, and that's the main idea, all the requirements which I have maybe, yeah, checked, or let's for the demo, let's use those two. Or let's maybe make a third one to show some demo for that also to be done. What we basically can do is we can actually use our filter possibility to directly filter for those which needs to be done because we flagged them as no. As you can see, SecurityRed filtered automatically to two requirements. Select all those, and with action was selected. What I can do is, as you can see here, create also Excel is possible, but create tickets is the thing we want. So what we need also again is just an URL to a Jira instance. We can of course use the one we've used before, but that's not the idea. So I have here another Jira queue, which is called Agile Dev as an example for a development queue. And I can again, by just pasting the queue here, SecurityRed will again ask the Jira queue what kind of issue types are possible. As you can see here, task, story, bug, epic. Again, this is SecurityRed talking to the Jira server directly and asking what kind of issue types are available. Let's use it as task. You will also be able to add some custom labels and just hit create tickets. And what it will do, it will create for each requirement a single Jira ticket. We can just have a look into it. And again, it looks directly, you have all the information from the requirement, you have the status fulfilled no, and it automatically relates to the artifact we have exported before into Jira. So it creates a Jira link for that. If we look back in our artifact queue and update, just to hit a refresh, we now see that also those two Jira tickets I've just exported are also linked to the main Jira ticket. So, and okay, now you've seen that, and what if I want to change? Because you mentioned, especially in your brief beginning, that requirements change, and yeah, you need another Excel list, and that's not the idea of it. Because in an agile environment, you want something much better, and the tool offering is of such possibility. So I can, by clicking on the import link, I can directly import this artifact again to SecurityRed. And it will tell me, okay, successfully imported again. And what you see now is we have a new column called status. And we see here directly linked the tickets which are created in the Jira queue, and we do see the status of those tickets as well. So if I'm a project lead, I can immediately look, hey, has my developer in this sprint successfully executed a task by setting, for example, the ticket to finish or to done? I can see it directly in Security Red. Okay, this is finished. I can maybe ask him or manually check. Okay, this is done. This looks good. But speaking of that, we want to update a requirement. So let's go into the admin overview of Security Red. And what I will do now is I will basically just do a small update on a requirement. Let's, for example, here, the first one, verify that all application components identified and are known to be needed, has a new cool update. Please all have a look. So this is done in the Security Red backend now, maybe from the security team, which is usually sometimes takes care of those, or the project team itself. So this requirement is now updated in the backend of Security Red. Now going back to this Jira ticket and doing the exact same thing I've shown you before, I would just click on, okay, import it and open the artifact. So we have the same procedure, it will import, but what it will do is it will look into the backend and will check if there are, to my current requirement set, if there are new updates available. For example, the security department has decided maybe to change or to alter, delete, or add new requirements. And you see that new button pops up here in red, updates available. And if I click on this, it will show me exactly, okay, for my set of 112 requirements, I had 1 requirement updates were found, 0 new were added, and 0 were removed from my set. So, and what I can do is it will highlight it you very nicely. In red, this is my old requirement. In green, this is my new one. I can see the update is directly marked for me. So I as an architect, for example, can see immediately the changes and can say, hey, that makes totally sense. Let's accept it, this change in our current requirement set. And what it will do, it will basically update the requirement set we have currently, has a new cool update. We have updated the requirement for the agile processes. We can again hit save. It automatically saves this status in our ticket again, and we have updated our new requirement with a more agile approach to the developers. Of course, this is just a small demo. Security Red has a lot of more features. If we had more time, I can show you way more features like generating trainings out of the requirement set, generating slides out of it. We have a possibility with a REST interface to automatically test different security requirements if they are technical testable. But I think for a short demo, this is it, and that's my wrap up.
That's really, really great. So probably what we can do is, now this is so much things going on, like it is integrated with so many products. So Daniel, can you tell me that how people can be involved in this project? Because I know there's a lot of effort goes behind, and if we don't have the right kind of people supporting us, then it's very hard to flourish the project. And there's always helping hands needed in the projects, because it's a community driven project, and we all have our day jobs with our companies. So if we have helping hands, we can make it like we can add more things to it. So how can we add things to it, and where people can go?
Certainly. One of the good starting points is, for instance, the OWASP Slack channel, where people are asking us questions. Also, you can go to GitHub, open an issue, or to see the page where are also our email addresses. So that's how to get in touch, and how people can help. That's actually many ways. For instance, as you've seen, typically every company or organization has an own set of requirements. So we are now offering, for instance, the ASVS just to play around with, but typically people will be having their own requirements, and so it will be really exciting to share these requirement sets with everyone. So methodologies. Also, otherwise, all the usual stuff. QA, fighting bugs, also talking about security red. We also saw some quite cool talks from also other people from the community. And of course, also people are welcome to develop new features. That's the most exciting one, of course.
Wow, that's really amazing. So I would request everyone who's listening to it, do reach out to Rene and Daniel for the project and help them out. And now you know where exactly you can support us. And you don't have to just support us by writing codes, or you can actually help in getting something corrected, helping modifying the content or documentation or anything. So any support from the community will really help us. Thank you. Thanks, Daniel, and thanks, Rene.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
having us.
Andana, very much.